So you want to learn how to code. Great. That's a good first step. Well, which programming language do you want to learn? JavaScript? Python? Java? You don't want to waste your time learning a language only to find out that you can't get a job, you can't command a high salary, or you can't even put the tools together to build a decent piece of software that excites you. Nothing feels worse than putting in all of that hard work for nothing. At the end of this video, you'll know exactly which programming language you should learn first. Now, you came to this video for an answer. So if you want an answer, let me give that to you. JavaScript. I can just tell you to ignore all the hype, all the articles, all the blog posts, get really good at JavaScript and Node.js and React and maybe even Vue, get your dream job building progressive web apps and just live happily ever after. That's your answer if you wanted one. Now, of course, that's silly. The real answer is that there is no one answer, and it depends on several factors like pay, number of job openings, open source code, and anything else that you can think of. So forget about what I just said, and let's do some analysis. Firstly, ask yourself, what are your goals? Do you like web development? Do you like artificial intelligence? Enterprise software? Just programming as a hobby? I like web development, you say. Well, the answer to that is really quite simple. JavaScript. It's the language that powers the web. But what in JavaScript? Node.js, React, Angular, Vue? Well, that's a different topic and I'll make that for another video. But let's get back to JavaScript. It's the most popular language on GitHub when measured by the number of pull requests. In other words, when developers are contributing to open source software, they're writing JavaScript more than any other language. Now, what about machine learning or data science or AI? That's on the rise too, so what do we do about that? Well, Python would be the weapon of your choice there. Python has several libraries like NumPy, SciPy, scikit-learn, Pandas, and much more. It is suited for data wrangling. Also, TensorFlow, the open source machine learning framework, Python is one of the most commonly used APIs for it. Okay, but what if we're judging by the TOBE index? Well, first of all, what is the TOBE index? You can think of the TOBE score or the TOBE index as just a score that measures the popularity of a language based on the number of search engine queries. So based on that, Java is number one here. However, this is just a measure and should be taken with a grain of salt. For a more detailed explanation on the TOBE score, there's a link in the bio. Alright, now let's talk money. Which job by programming language pays the most? Well, here you can see it's Ruby on Rails with Java pretty close by and Objective-C pretty close as well. Now we can speculate tons of reasons why Java is high up there, maybe because a lot of enterprise software commands high salaries and a lot of senior developers are writing Java. There are several reasons we can make up. However, the moral of the story is it is very tough to verify this data and exactly why certain languages are commanding certain salaries. One thing for sure though, you can command a high salary in pretty much any language if you are doing it long enough and you're good enough at it. Hard work and smart work equals money. That is an attitude that you should always have regardless of the language that you pursue. So don't get caught up in salary charts like this. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Alright, now what about Google Trends? That's another indicator in gauging interest. Well, if we see here, it seems like JavaScript interest is kind of plateaued. Python interest, we see a slight upward trend. And Java, there's a slight downward trend. Now, this is just search volume. Again, another indicator and another thing that you should take with a grain of salt. Alright, now let's discuss the number of job openings. Here, as you can see, it's Java. That's it. Now, once again, this is just the number of job openings in general. There are a few more things we got to take in mind. If you're a junior developer and you're just starting out, well, a lot of junior job openings may not be Java. They may be something like junior front-end web developer where JavaScript is necessary. So you have to go a little deeper than just look at something like number of job openings. So once again, it's just an indicator and it should be taken with a grain of salt. So as you can see, it's easy to get misled by all of these things. If you Google what's the best programming language to learn, you'll just be left with more questions than answers. So let's summarize. If you're looking into modern web development, web apps, and things like that, well, JavaScript is a pretty clear answer. If you're looking into machine learning and AI and things like that, well, Python is your answer there. Sometimes, though, you can get caught up and end up in paralysis by analysis. So if you're still having a hard time, just go with JavaScript. It's arguably the most versatile language out there. You can code on the front end, you can code on the back end, you can build web apps, Android apps, iOS apps, websites, and much more. Remember, it's good to analyze before jumping in, but sometimes there comes a time when you just need to dive head first and see where you end up. As Nike says, just do it. If you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more of this, tech, software, and the interview process in general, please subscribe and share and tell your friends about it. I'll see you soon.